Welcome to Discourse. Today we are discussing What Happened at Lake Tallulah by Nina Han, a romance sci-fi novel. The story begins with the young Margaux, who is raised by her controlling mother, whose anxieties were fueled by a mysterious event in her past. One day, Margaux rebels and falls in love with a handsome lifeguard, Byron, who takes her on a wild date towards Lake Tallulah. While swimming in the lake, the couple is abducted by extraterrestrials, who examine their bodies, erase their memories, and return them back to Earth separately. Neither one of the couples remembers each other, and both are forced to go on to separate lives. They both serendipitously encounter the eclectic friends from Margaux's past, and the entire group embarks on a wild journey back to Lake Tallulah, where a stunning revelation emerges that will change their lives.
So the story begins present time with Margaux going back to her hometown because her mysterious friend that she made one day looking at the mirror, we'll get to that, was kind of insistent that you gotta go back to your hometown, go back to where it all began. So she goes back to her hometown, and it seems like she's been through marriage, she's been through a few things, been several years. So it opens up that going back home. So this mysterious figure, it's this doppelganger that she creates by talking to a mirror.
Right.
One day. It all started in the 80s. That's where the book is based, when she was in her teens, senior year in high school. Her last year, she ended up moving 800 miles away because her parents got these jobs that they just had to get up and go. They didn't explain what it was. The parents were never open, right, with Margaux. And they didn't have a great relationship, but...
Yeah, they were like super overprotective, not much communication there.
Yeah, and they never shared why. So they didn't have any open, communication or a good relationship. With all that, I guess trauma, because she didn't have friends at school, the new school. Everyone looked at her funny. And she cried at times, and she was upset. She had no one to really talk to. And so... she looked at a mirror.
Her eyes were still bloodshot from all that crying. She waved her hand around in the air. She watched her reflection mimic her movements. She smiled. How nice it would be if her reflection could suddenly come into life and talk back to her, chat with her, laugh with her, and cry with her. A doppelganger. Almost like having a friend. Better yet, a twin sister exactly like her, to share secrets with.
So all that happened. And now you got your reflection talking to you. And at first she was freaked out. She's like, what the heck? Like, am I dreaming? Am I asleep? She was wide awake. Yeah, she could feel the heat. She could feel all these things. And she ends up asking her, like, what's your name? I was thinking it was going to say, oh, I'm Margaux 2.
I'm Margaux number 2.
I don't know. Dargo. Or something.
Dargo.
I am you in an alternate reality.
Yeah.
But, no, it was Anastasia.
Anastasia.
Like, she looked like her... obviously her reflection, a doppelganger, but when they actually get to talking for quite a while, and it seemed that Anastasia was from another world, that she was attracted to Margaux, like calling out to her. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, kind of like a fairy godmother or something you wish for so much that like you'd call it towards you.
Just happens.
It was just interesting. It was a whole world because she would turn around. I was like, oh, I gotta go. That was kind of freaky to me. I'm like, where's she at? Yeah,
like she obviously was like in her own world herself, this Anastasia person. So you know that there was things happening behind the mirror that we just couldn't see.
Yeah. So is it good or bad?
Right.
I don't know.
I mean, she kept saying that she was good and that she meant no harm and things like that. So.
But she...
for now.
Didn't answer a lot of the questions.
That's true.
It's like, when you're ready, you're not ready. Just wait. I can't tell you.
Yeah, it's all very mysterious.
Yeah. Who are you? Kind of freaky.
Yeah.
I don't know. But they become close friends, and whenever she wants to share her emotions or talk about school, talk about boys, whatever, she would talk to this Anastasia doppelganger. Mm-hmm. But cut to the future, many years later, this Anastasia person kind of hints at her, you got to go back to the pool. Go back to the pool where it all started. So she goes back to her hometown, to the Aqua Club, where she gets a membership, and she gets down there. She loves to swim. We read that a lot, that she loves the water, she likes the freedom there. It kind of seemed like she could have been a professional swimmer.
I know, right? It seemed like she was really good at swimming.
Yeah. So she goes, and she's like, all right, nothing's happened so far. I guess I'm just here to swim, just enjoy the past. And she ends up tripping. Yeah, she actually stepped on something, but at first she thought someone pushed her. She ended up just kind of hurting herself and I guess stopped and got bumped into. So it's this guy. At first she was mad, but she looks at him. She's like, oh, he has like powerful thighs. He's checking him out.
He's so handsome. It's okay that you push me over.
He's got a swimmer's body.
Can't let him know that you're interested. Keep him guessing. Hello. No, I like his name though. I feel like he had a really good name. Byron O'Neill.
Yeah. Which she gets when she leaves. She asks the person at the front desk, who's that guy? Never seen him before.
Who's that sexy man?
So they exchange names. And when they do, she kind of, I don't know, it's like a light hit her and things go dark and she kind of gets like this.
Well,
like
she gets a voice.
Met him before.
Yeah, and she gets this voice that's like repeating itself in her mind because she's like, she knows that he's familiar. She knows his face. She knows his name. She's like, but where, how, when?
Yep.
Yeah.
So she keeps repeating his name and she gets frustrated. And it's kind of funny because while she's doing all that, Byron's just staring at her like, can I go now? Like, are you okay?
I know, he was just checking on her, like, making sure she was okay. And he's just like, okay, she's kind of weirdo. But I like the line where it said, like, the name ring a bell like a long forgotten song. The best line in the book, just saying.
All right. Now we go to the flashback. Mm-hmm. She's 19. She's graduated high school. And her new high school, which she still hates, she graduated. Summer's here, the best time of the year for her, because...
the pool!
Mm-hmm.
It's all about swimming.
Yeah. And in the beginning, it's adults only. No kids, no crazies. So she goes to the pool club over here in this new town. And she went for a swim. And then she seemed to also like to just lay down, get a tan, read her book. But unknowns to her, she has an admirer, a lifeguard in the corner, kind of watching her like, I've never seen her before. Because I believe it's the first time she's been there this summer. She just got a membership from this family that left the town and handed it over. So eventually, when his shift is over, he walks over to her as she's laying down getting a tan. And he blocks the sun from her and she gets all crazy. But that's the first time they meet. This is Byron. The same Byron from the future.
Right.
Yep.
So you're kind of like, oh, so she did know him. She did recognize him. But at this point, you don't really know why they have forgotten each other, right? Mm-hmm. So you're kind of like, wait, obviously they've met because, now we're in the flashback, but like, why did she only have like a really like distant memory of him? Yeah. And he seemed to not remember her at all, but still was taken with her, right? So.
Yeah, because you would have remembered Byron, the lifeguard.
Right, and especially someone like that. Possibly like you're like, oh, like he's very handsome or she's very beautiful. I feel like those people kind of keep a memory in your mind.
Yeah.
I mean, even after years and years, right?
And I quote Margaux. Margaux flushed, her cheeks burning hotly. Hello, she responded awkwardly, riveted by his attention toward her. Margaux shifted her arms in the curve. She felt irritated. He was blocking the sun that had warmed her face just a few seconds earlier, and yet she felt herself drawn into his deep brown eyes and wondered what to do next. It didn't help that he was so handsome. Only movie stars look like that. He did not belong here at the pool club, surrounded by mediocrity. Margaux found herself intently studying the rugged lines of his face. But of course she didn't show it. She just showed irritation.
That's right. Yeah. Girl, you gotta stay strong.
Man, so he was kind of like, well, sorry.
Sorry to bother you, Lila. But anyway, so, they eventually go on a date.
Yeah, she didn't show him, but as she walked out, she did ask for his name, right? Like, who's that lifeguard?
He eventually gets up the nerve to ask her out, and they go on a date. And he tells her, girl, you better get up real early because we're going somewhere real special, okay? I'm picking you up, and we're going. And so he picks her up, and
he was surprised she said yes.
Yeah, he was. First of all, he was like, "Wow,"
because of all that attitude.
Said yeah, because all that attitude. Yeah, and then so he picks her up. What, at 3 a.m. in the morning, dude? Way too early for a date. Just saying. But apparently, this was a very special place that he was taking her to, so she agreed. He picks her up. He's like, hey, you might want to take a nap in the car for a little while because I'm going to drive for a bit.
It was like a 2-hour drive.
Yeah. And then eventually they end up at Lake Tallulah. And it's like a beautiful view. It's just gorgeous. The sun's coming up. And she's just like, you are so right, Byron. This was a very romantic and amazing place to be.
But it wasn't just the lake. There was like a few like wonders that he wanted to share with her.
Right. Yeah, this is the part of the story where things start to really kick off with like the sci-fi and the mystery of it all. So this is where the story really takes off. Thanks for hanging out with us, and be sure to check out What Happened at Lake Tallulah by Nina Han.